The Festival of Giving, an ancient tradition in Mondstadt during winter, when snow covered the plains around the City of Freedom, and the air got ice cold. The Festival of Giving was put into place by the Gunhildr clan after the defeat of the Lawrence family hundreds of years ago. During the holiday, the people of Mondstadt would give each other their favorite meals and/or toys for the children. Barbados' statue would be decorated with candles, and colorful dried lavender flowers were hung pretty much everywhere. The smell of cinnamon from the bakeries and the sleepy smell of lavender wafted through the streets, making the entire city look, sound, feel, and even smell like a winter portrait. This beauty, however, was taken away from you. In summer, many months ago, you had been attacked by a roving band of hilly churls. The goblin-like creatures poisoned your body, paralyzing you. The only thing you still had control over were your eyes. You could move them from side to side, yet could not close them. You were trapped in your own body. After you had been found, you had been brought into the care of your master, the chief alchemist of the Knights of Favonius, Master ALBEDO. If you were able to speak, you would have protested, not wanting the alchemist to bother with you. He was busy after all. You felt bad for distracting him from his dragonspine study. He had more important things to do than take care of his little intern. You were lying motionless in his bed. His footsteps gently approached you. ALBEDO had this dignified walk. A noise indicated that he sat down in a creaky chair that stood next to the bed. "I hope you haven't blacked out on me," he spoke softly. "I will test your reflexes now. If you feel anything, that will be a good sign of recovery." You heard the unmistakable noise of your bones creaking as he hit your knees gently with a small hammer. You didn't feel a thing. Interesting. There is a reaction, he said. "Wait, really?" you thought. "This gives me an idea." He went quiet. Was he gone already? You heard the noise of skin rubbing against skin. "Can you feel my hand in yours? Move your eyes from left to right if you can, up and down if you cannot." ALBEDO leaned forward and opened one of your eyes. You moved them up and down. "I see." He closed your eye again. "I have a hypothesis, and I feel bad that I haven't thought of this before." He huffed. "And today we will try something new, just to test this hypothesis. I would really like to tell you I'm positive it's going to work out, but considering all those other failures, I will feel bad giving you false hope." He always said that. "I remember you told me that you always enjoyed the Festival of Giving. So I'm hoping I can cure this before it ends this year." He smiled despite you being unable to see it. "I hope you don't feel insulted, but this entire thing, it feels like taking care of a hurt pet." You blinked, internally of course, mostly in confusion. What the hell was he talking about? "Oh, I hope you don't misunderstand my implications." He he exhaled. I think the correct term here for this scenario is, I have grown fond of treating you, and I hope once you're healed, you will continue being my intern. Was he flirting with you? Or was he kidding? Or did you misunderstand him? If you could blush, you would. No need to blush. Wait, did you just? Well, not like you would feel anything. Very well, then, I will now proceed to test my hypothesis. He chuckled darkly. Just stay put for a while. If you could hit him, you would. He always made that stupid joke. By now you had lost count as to how many hours he had spent brewing things up for you. Clanking about, humming to himself. It was input you missed every time he left, for Barbados knows how long. Every once in a while he would approach you and do something to your body. You couldn't quite feel it, but knew what it was from the sound. Using a hose, he forced liquid down your throat. He was surgical in his precision with it, simply due to the fact that you haven't drowned yet. Using all of this as cues to tell the time, you could tell that it was late at night by now. When he finally returned to you for another heart-to-heart, you heard him place something on a metal tray. Now it's time. I have forcefully paralyzed a few test animals of the Helichurlian poison. It is actually quite interesting. A mixture out of Helichur feces, Helichur salvia, and ground up dried violet grass. While the salvia does nothing, it seems the enzymes in the feces mixed with the violet grass create this grotesque poison. He huffed. I am fully aware of how gross this is. But anyways, due to the lack of more advanced machinery here in Mondstadt, I had to use trial, error, and logic. That's why it took so long. You heard a noise somewhere behind you. I will now lift you up. Do not be afraid, he said. That explained the weird vertigo you were feeling suddenly. And now I shall inject my concoction into your neck. It is very experimental. If there are side effects, I'll assume nothing more than a simple rash that I can mend with a cream. You heard the unmistakable squeeze of a syringe behind you. Then he placed you back down on your bed. Now, let's see. You could hear Albedo rub his hands in anticipation. I feel like I should tell you the intended effect. He paused. I took hold of your hand now. Concentrate. Imagine my hand in yours. Now imagine your thumb. Try to rub it across the back of my hand. Minutes passed. More time passed. This man was so patient. Ha, there, he said suddenly, spooking you a little. Your fingers, they're moving. You're controlling your body once again. What was he talking about? Open your eyes. Try to remember how to do it. Remember how it felt. Remember what you did. Your body made a noise akin to a huff. Yes, said Albedo. And then your eyes opened on their own You blinked. Once. Twice. You still couldn't feel anything. But you could move. It works, as expected. You looked into his deep, cyan eyes. Welcome back to the world of the living. He smiled. You raised your arm and awkwardly slapped it onto his cheek. Ouch. Do you hate me that much? He chuckled. Then he took your hand in his. Or are you merely trying to show comfort? It was comfort. You were bursting with happiness. Now, try to move more of your body, please. It took you an immense amount of focus. Placing your hands on the sides of the bed and lifting yourself into a sitting position. Your lack of feeling required absolute concentration. Not to mention, having to survive the incredible embarrassment you felt under Albedo's watchful gaze. I will not make you walk just yet. If anything, crawling would be possible, though. The alchemist smirked. Since you could move your body, you thought. You opened your mouth. I can't do this. Wow. Was that your voice? It was hoarse and dry. Not to mention you sounded drunk. Albedo raised his eyebrows, and then clapped into his hands. I truly am impressed. I did not expect your vocal cords to be functional just yet. He grinned. This, I would say, is a miracle. You think so? Albedo nodded. Actually, I got something for you, he said before getting up and leaving behind a corner. You moved your body forward, only to lose balance and fall forward onto the mattress. Oh dear, you heard him shout out a moment later. The alchemist lifted you up from the bed. Sorry, you muttered. It is all right. I was worried you might have suffocated. He cleared his throat. Anyways, I present you with your Festival of Giving present. He took a step to the side. It was a wheelchair. Shit? You asked. He blinked. I am not sure if you said shit or that. You were going to kill him. Albedo chuckled and then sighed. Before this incident, I had grown quite attached to you. I hope that even if you never regain the feeling in your extremities, you still stay with us. Still stay with me. You looked at him. Is it crush on me? Your heart jumped. Crush is a silly word. But yes, I feel quite attracted to you. He looked at you and smiled. I do not want to overexert you, but I feel like it would be good if you got out. You nodded in agreement. Great. He walked up to you. His arm under your shoulder, he helped you walk over to the wheelchair. With a sad look in your eyes, you looked at your legs. Your body looked so skinny and fragile from the lack of use. Gently, Albedo placed you into the wheelchair. Then he looked you up and down. What? You can't go out like this. Not enough layers. It is really cold outside. He turned towards his dresser and pulled out a few coats and jackets. With a mild blush, he dressed you in a thick layer of clothing. Good. Next, he stepped behind you. Are you ready? He said softly. Yes, you answered. Slowly, he pushed the wheelchair outside. There, the entire city was covered in artificial lights by using crystal flies caught in jars. The puffy snow like a blanket on the surrounding buildings. Sadly though, what was lying in the streets was already brown and mushy from the people who walked over it. The cold air made its way down your lungs, so painful you could actually feel it. The sensation made your tear up in happiness. Quietly, the alchemist pushed you through Mondstadt's streets. It was so beautiful. You couldn't bear it. After such a long time of just seeing the walls of ALBEDO's laboratory. This is what you wished for. As he pushed you past the angel's chair, and the muffled singing from the inside of the inn got quieter, ALBEDO spoke up again. Tomorrow we will try and give you something to eat. While you don't feel anything, your body seems to react properly. Are you sure? He hummed. You humans are resilient yet so fragile. What you mean? You knew the alchemist was a homunculus, so him saying something like this wasn't strange to you. But you were curious. He paused, looking up at the starry sky. Human bodies react to intrusion. There are so many attacks on the body on a daily basis. We never even realize. Microscopic cuts, bacteria. He continued pushing you forward. If I wasn't so alchemically talented, I would have studied biology. It is just so fascinating. You hummed in an attempt to chuckle. I promise to you that we will beat this thing inside of you. Thank you, you said, turning to look at him. I liked you. He smiled and leaned forward, gently pressing his lips on your forehead. Your skin was cold. He probably should get you back to the lab now. You, on the other hand, blushed, wishing you could feel the warmth of his lips on your flesh. I love you too, he whispered gently into your ear.